Hello, welcome to Crushing Sounds. My name is Reuben, and this is my first solo review for the channel. And speaking of overdue things, let's talk about some Meshuggah. So Meshuggah are a band I've wanted to cover on the channel for a long time now. To say commentary on this band is sorely missed from the channel is, I think, a bit of an understatement. I'd even say Meshuggah are probably the most influential metal band of the last 30 years. Their influence really cannot be understated. So if you don't know who Meshuggah are, they're a band that come from Sweden. In the 90s they carved out a really unique sound with albums like Destroy, Erase, Improve and Chaosphere, blending polyrhythmic, mathematically precise riffs with spine-destroying grooves and some of the best harsh vocals in all of metal. Off the back of this early success in Europe, Meshuggah are able to open for Slayer in 1999 and Tool on the Lateralis tour throughout 2002. In 2002, Meshuggah released Nothing, an album that is today widely considered to be responsible for the term djent, a subgenre that has become so maligned and so memed online. The single biggest point of conjecture seems to be whether or not it even exists. Any sort of keyboard hammering aside, Nothing is considered among Meshuggah's best work, if not their masterpiece. And it's from this we've got bands like Periphery and Animals as leaders, and if you're a fan of Meshuggah and you haven't listened to those bands, then for God's sake, what are you doing? After experimenting on the EP I, where the only track is the 20-minute title cut, and the album Catch 33, where the entire album is one massive 45-minute song. Meshuggah released this album I'm talking about today, Obzen, in 2008. The album launched Meshuggah into the mainstream metal consciousness and allowed the band to headline tours in the US and in the UK. This is also the first album to feature bassist Dick Lovegren, who is always really fun to watch live. For the 15th anniversary of this milestone album, Meshuggah have released a remastered version, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, I will talk about how the remaster is different from the original 2008 mix, but I thought for this video I'll primarily focus on just the album itself. It's an album review after all. The album title, Obzen, is a combination of the words obscene and zen, which pretty accurately sums up the music contained within. The album opens with Combustion, a fast-paced thrash-influenced track. The song starts off with this clean, almost funk riff, and you think the song is going one way until drummer Thomas Harker starts counting in on his hi-hat, and it feels like he's playing a completely different song at the same time. Pretty par for the course for Meshuggah at this point, but even, by album number 6, I think this is, they were still pulling new tricks out the hat. From the intro, the song is just this blistering, energetic, circle pit-inducing machine. The song has inspired a cavalcade of videos analysing what time signature the song is in. For me, I like to bang my head on the snare and feel that as the one, and yes, I know I'm wrong, but that to me is the compositional beauty of a song like Combustion, where an audience can interpret it in multiple ways, and it's still technical as fuck, but it still makes sense. The second track, Electric Red, has a distinctive off-kilter riff that opens the song and comes back as a motif throughout. The track features a Tool-like clean mid-section featuring jazzy guitar stabs and a tom-heavy drum pattern. Like many sections of many Meshuggah songs, a casual listener might think it's in 3/4 or 7/8 or something, but if you listen it's just in 4. Surprisingly simple if you think about it. The song ends with a big, rhythmically jarring breakdown that fades out to make way for the third track. Track 3 is a song called Bleed. If you've clicked on this video, you've definitely heard this song before. There really isn't much to be said about this song that hasn't been said already. It's essentially the Smells Like Teen Spirit of Gent. But leaving aside the thing that everyone talks about, which is the fact that the drums alone may as well be an exam entrance piece for Berklee College of Music, the song itself is actually really well composed. The song concerns the experience of having a brain aneurysm rupture from the point of view of the casualty. The song starts abruptly, going straight into the song's signature Herto riff, reflective of the sudden pain that would occur from this medical catastrophe. The song is tense and the lyrics seem to follow the theme of this is pain like you've never felt before, time is running out, and you're probably going to die in the next few minutes. The entire song's lyrics are genius. A few stand-ups to me are beams of fire sweep through my head, thrusts of pain increasingly engaged, sensory receptors succumb, and now I know all the agony. My crimson liquid so frantically spilled, the ruby fluid of life unleashed. After a few verses and variations on the main riff, the song lets up with a repeated solo guitar, clean and rich with reverb. This section serves a brief respite from the skull-flattening energy of the rest of the song, and to me feels like the point of death itself. The pain subsides and you're finally at peace. The pain is over. For now. Suddenly the song launches into a massive breakdown, again featuring frantic start-and-stop-again riffing underneath a jazz-influenced atonal guitar solo from the guitar wizard Frederick Thorndahl. When the vocals come back in, the narrative now seems to concern the protagonist's soul. Falling into the clarity of undoing, scornful gods haggle for my soul. If you listen to the version in the music video, the entire section after the clean part is entirely cut. As a prog guy myself, the full 7.5 minute version of this song is where it truly shines. As a funny story to go with this song, last time I saw Meshuggah in Bristol, they didn't play Bleed. After the show, I got to meet Thomas Harker, which is really cool. I didn't want to bombard the guy with questions, so I just went for a quick, hey man, thanks for the show, quick fist bump. A guy next to me, of course, who I didn't know, said, hey man, will you play Bleed again? And to which Thomas responded, oh, I'm sure we will. But the thing is, and this is what he did, every time you play it, you sort of have to go like, right, here we go, hope nothing goes wrong. I completely understand why they don't want to play a track like Bleed for a while, or just have a break from the song perhaps, but it's kind of like going to see, say, AC/DC and they don't play Back in Black. After Bleed, I kind of feel like the album starts to fizzle out a little bit, but that could just be because the standard set by the first 3 songs is so high. Songs like Lethargica and the title track are cool, but I'm not clambering to hear these songs live. They're great songs. They're just not as great as others. Now, the next song that really jumps out at me is the penultimate track, Pravus. Another song that forgoes the pleasantries and comes straight in and beats you over the head like a cinder block. Meshuggah opened their set at the 2009 Sun and Breeze Festival in Germany with this song, and it is palpably effective. A link to their entire performance will be below. Please go and watch it. It is stellar stuff. Though, of course, seeing Meshuggah in person is an experience that cannot be replicated anywhere apart from the real thing. The song continues in a pounding, whiplash-inducing fashion, and then the song steps back a little, allowing a few stabs on the toms to complement vocalist Jens Kidman's growls of disdain for the morally bankrupt over the top. This gives way to another gargantuan breakdown that eventually closes the song. Pravus, which is Latin for deprived, is an amazing song to see live. They played it last time I saw them, and it was one of the most intense live music experiences of my life. And then becomes the closing track, the 9.5 minute Dances to a Discordant System. The song opens with a really distinctive jazz-like guitar riff, and it's another of those Meshuggah moments that make you go, what is going on? Track thumps along, displaying a restrained version of Meshuggah's groove-laden style, as Jens delivers his vocals in tense but sharply aggressive whispers. The song takes the listener up mountains and down trenches over its course, before finally collapsing into another huge breakdown. There's a lot of those on this album, isn't there? And that wraps up the album. This is an epic song in every sense. They didn't attempt to play it live for 4 years. In fact, the first time they ever played it in full was in Bristol, which is the same city me and Chris went to uni in. So that's quite cool. In fact, I've seen it in the same venue on, I believe it was a tour afterwards. And it's such a good song live. So as I've mentioned before, Obzen has been remastered and re-released in 2023 to mark the 15th anniversary of the album's original release. Meshuggah have done similar before, remastering their 2004 EP I, and famously re-recording parts of Nothing to varied reception. I found most of the time remasters tend to be sort of an improvement on the original if done properly, while remixes can be quite hit and miss. According to Giles Martin, who is the son of the legendary Beatles producer George Martin, remastering is like polishing a car, maybe doing a bit of body work just to make the car look nice, really, for a show or something. To remix something is like completely taking the car to pieces and starting again. As an example, I prefer the original mixes of Deliverance and Damnation by Opeth. Just for that style of music, I feel like the original slightly raw, more raw, huge echoey drums or sound, I felt like better for that sort of that really heavy style of music. But the remix is being done of a lot of the Beatles catalogue. We've had Revolver, Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper. They all tend to, while respecting those albums' legacies, just enhance the experience and really draw the listener in and make you feel like you're there in the room with them. In the case of Obzen, which is a remaster, it is an improvement on the original. The overall mix is definitely clearer. It's technically better. It's just not, I don't know, it's not anything that makes me go, wow, this remaster just completely negates the existence of the original mix. This is now the standard, the special edition, if you will. I would say if you don't own this album and you want to get it on vinyl, it's a recommended purchase of mine. I'd love to get it on vinyl one day. Definitely go for the remaster. If you already own the original version, then you don't need to rush out and go and buy it unless you just want to have it for your collection, because Meshuggah have released it a few times now, different artwork and such and such. I tell you what, I wasn't really sure if this album needed a remaster in the first place. I would love to see something like Chaos Sphere get a proper remaster, because that's such a good album. And I kind of feel like they did Obzen because it's the milestone for Meshuggah. It's their most commercially successful album, I think. That might be immutable now, but I'm not so sure. It's a great album in itself, Obzen, don't get me wrong. It's definitely worth multiple listens. As you may be aware, we here on the channel absolutely love Bloodstock Festival, which is here in the UK, of course. So I was absolutely ecstatic. In fact, I was saying for ages, you know who'd be a really great headliner? Meshuggah. They're big enough where they could definitely headline the whole festival. They're small enough that they wouldn't be sort of too much for the size of it. They probably wouldn't turn it down for like money or whatever. Again, you know, the video on YouTube of them playing a Summer Breeze festival shows that they can definitely play on an outdoor stage with all the lights going. It just looks incredible, and I cannot wait to see it in person because Meshuggah have been in fact announced as the Saturday headliners at this year's Bloodstock. So I'm going to be there right at the front, getting my ribs crushed probably. I've seen Meshuggah twice before at the O2 Academy in Bristol. Honestly, seeing this band live is like a near religious experience at this point. Their light show alone is renowned in the live music world, in and outside of metal. So I reckon that's going to do it for this review. Do you like Obzen? I do. I think it's a decent album. If you haven't heard it, definitely go out and check it out. If you like extreme metal or technical music and stuff like that, or you just want to headbang and have a really good time grooving to some of these incredible songs. In fact, comment below your favourite Meshuggah song. For me, I'd have to go with Future Breed Machine off of Destroy, Raise, Improve. Just because it's got everything you want from a Meshuggah song. You know, it's got the thrashy parts and the verses. There's a clean section with the guitar solo that sounds like something that the band Cynic might do. And then there's just that fucking breakdown. So yeah, that's it for now, I believe. Please, everyone's, just stay kind, stay metal, go listen to some Meshuggah.